What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we have a pretty huge video, something I've been planning for I guess a couple years, a couple months now. Finally time to do it, and this is gonna be my top 20 fragrances of all time. Making this list, I realized that I do have a certain profile that I like. I absolutely love all of these. I did leave a lot out from my collection that I also highly enjoy wearing, but I guess if you want to think about it this way, these fragrances I'm about to show you are, encapsulate my, scent profile and personality, if you will. But I only have about 39 minutes to film before this SD card fills up, so we're just gonna kind of run through it. Before I start off, I'm gonna start off with 3 honorable mentions in no particular order. Number 1 is Santal 33. This is the niche fragrance that put me onto a bunch of other fragrances. I smelled this on a lady a couple years ago. It smelled incredible. I asked her what it was. It was this, and then from then on I went on a rabbit hole, and here we are with a bunch of new discoveries, and overall great fragrance in my opinion. I want to say it's a masterpiece, but some people would disagree. But I absolutely love Santal. I couldn't make a video without including it, so here's my homage to Santal 33. It didn't make the honorable mention list. Second one on the list is The Night from Frederic Malle. This one's another important one to me. Just a beautiful rose oud, very dirty, and very beautiful Turkish rose that comes out in the dry down, and just one of my first higher end, super expensive ones that I decided to splurge on. So this one holds a special place in my heart. I only wear it a couple times out of the year, but this is basically portrait of a lady, but instead of patchouli you add some oud in there, and that's what I get from The Night, and I highly enjoy this. Definitely difficult for some to get into, especially at the beginning, but once it dries down it turns into a beautiful, gorgeous fragrance. I showed this to my parents and they actually liked it, both of them. So my dad liked it, my mom liked it. So that's saying something there, that it is a likable fragrance. You just have to look beyond it. And I've showed this to a couple friends too, and they enjoy it as well. So that's number 2 on my honorable mention list. Third one is going to be Roja's Diaghilev. This is a special one as well, and this one's an old school, dusty, vintage, spicy, musky chypre, and it's absolutely incredible. Gorgeous presentation, gorgeous fragrance, very regal, smells very expensive, and I absolutely love this one. If you want to make a statement piece, or if you want a statement fragrance, this is the one. If you can handle it, this is also a gorgeous one I wear to bed, just to wear it for myself. Very comforting in my opinion. Some people will think it's a little older, a little more grandma-ish, but it's incredible. If you know, let's put it that way. All right, let's speed run through the next 20. And this is, I had a little bit of trouble ranking them, but number 20 to start off the list is going to be Le Male Le Parfum. This one is made by Quentin Biche, which is a favorite of mine, favorite perfumer. I know some people despise him, but he is making a bunch of fragrances at the moment, maybe too many, right? So, but Le Male Le Parfum never fails me. This is an easy grab for me when I want to wear something special, but also not too out there. And this one has top notes of cardamom, middle notes are lavender and iris, base notes are vanilla, and then woodsy notes and oriental notes. So gorgeous fragrance, gorgeous masculine. Get compliments on this one. Very easy to wear in my opinion, but just and a great price, honestly. So very niche, almost niche quality. Just a gorgeous, all-around great designer scent. And number 19, I was surprised to put it so far down the list, but I had so many great ones that you know, it kind of took a little back step. And this is Tom Ford's Beau de Jour, and this is the private line, which was discontinued pretty quickly, and then it got re-released to the men's signature line, and now that has also been discontinued. So another discontinued fragrance, unfortunately, from Tom Ford that didn't make the list to stay on, but just a gorgeous fragrance. The perfumer for this one is Antoine Maisondieu, and he's in charge of, or he's been in charge of lots of fragrances from Eldo, the brand Etat Libre d'Orange, and then he's also done a lot of Armani Code Flankers, Prada Paradoxes, Mont Blanc, Explorer, Valentino Uomo Born in Roma, YSL, Myself, EDP, and Le Parfum. So he's in charge of a bunch of, you know, very popular designer fragrances, but he did this one. This one, in my opinion, I've called it a masterpiece several times, and I think it is just a beautifully blended, well-made fougere that, you know, has top notes of lavender extract. You got middle notes with oak moss, rosemary, mint, basil, geranium, and at the base you have patchouli and amber. Just a very gorgeous fragrance, very classy, very masculine. Beau de Jour, I think, is Man of the Night, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a couple years since I, bought this one, but I wear it quite a bit. I still have a ways to go, but never fails me. Another easy grab for me when I want to smell nice without offending anybody. Number 18, another one that was a little far down the list, and I almost did not include this brand, but it'd be a shame to not to do that. So this is Le Labo's Patchouli 24, another special favorite fragrance of mine. Perfumer was Anique Monardo, or is Anique Monardo, and this one has patchouli, birch, styrex, and vanilla. And this one's very smoky to some people. At least it starts off that way, and then over time, about 50% of the wear in, the back half is a very beautiful vanilla, woody fragrance that's just very dreamlike and comforting. So this is really, honestly, a vanilla fragrance, if you want to think of it like that. If you can get past opening, then your dry down's going to be very beautiful and gorgeous. Unisex, in my opinion. I did smell this in the wild on a woman, and she was surprised that I was able to pick it out. Maybe she was trying to be secretive of it, but I was like, nope, I know what Patchouli 24 is. Number 17, we have Andy Towers Au Cœur du Désert, which I believe is In the Heart of the Desert. I accidentally got that wrong in my unboxing, and someone came for me in the comments. Hopefully I got it right this time. But this is an Extrait de Parfum, and this one has resins, coriander, cedar, ambergris, patchouli, and cumin. Just a lot of spices, a lot of resins. Very base heavy. There's really no uplifting bright notes in this. This is just a very base heavy fragrance that's gorgeous. I wear this all the time, in the heat and all that, but if you want to think of winter fragrances, this is one of those where it's just very base heavy, very spicy and resinous. Just a complete gorgeous fragrance that's I guess very exciting to wear. I highly enjoy this one. It's very addictive. I just got a new Tower fragrance as well yesterday, which I made a video on, and that one's another addictive fragrance. Something about this Tower DNA that speaks to me, and I highly enjoy it. Indie House from Switzerland, if you're not aware of Andy Tower. Okay, that was number 17. 16 is something I wear quite a bit, honestly. Have a pretty huge dent in this, if you can see. And this is MFK's Oud Extrait. I have tried, the other ones, but this one just speaks to me. This one's a really great, easy wear in my opinion. And top notes for this are saffron and elamite resin. Middle notes are vanilla, ambret, and atlas cedar. And at the base you have Laotian oud and Indonesian patchouli leaf. Just when I first got this, it was a little dirty, but the more I wore it, the more I realized it had that classic MFK DNA, very sparkly, very clean, aldehydic oud fragrance that's bright and uplifting. The oud in here isn't dense at all, in my opinion. This is just a nice bright fragrance. Every time I wear this, for some reason I sense a little bit of lime in there, but it's not listed in there, so I'm kind of curious to see what that citrusy note that's making my tongue a little, or make it salivate, because I do get that feeling in there. Number 15 is this one, which is Ambre Suprême by Les Indemodables. And this one has top notes of aldehydes, clary sage, pink pepper, and cardamom. Middle notes are Moroccan jasmine, neroli, and patchouli. And in base notes you have ambergris and immortelle. This is another, I want to say, masculine fragrance. I can't see a lady wearing this, in my opinion. This is just a very old school, masculine 70s, 80s fragrance with a little bit of modern touch to it that elevates it. It's got this nice citrus saltiness to it, and this is a chameleon-like fragrance for me. It does change every time I wear it. When I first got it, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then, second, third, fourth wear, same situation. And then slowly but surely, I started falling in love with this. And you can see the dent in there. And I just think it's a really well-made fragrance by Antoine Lee. Doesn't smell like anything you've had. This is very unique. And like I said, masculine. If you like ambergris and orris, definitely check this one out. Oh wait, never mind, not orris. I'm thinking of another fragrance, but ambergris for sure is in here. And that's what the amber is in there. It's not amber like the resin, it's ambergris. Number 14 is Roja. So this is a Roja Parfums creation, and this is Sultanate of Oman. Top notes are grapefruit and orange. Middle notes are raspberry, rose de mai, violet, and jasmine. And at the base you have agarwood, olibanum, Georgian balsam, papyrus, gaiac wood, birch, saffron, elamai, oak moss, orris root, amyris, cardamom, cedar, carrot seeds, sandalwood, and musk. Now, does that mean anything? No, it never does with these Rojas. He just somehow decides to, or whoever the perfumer is, if it is Roja himself, just combine a bunch of things, make it work. But this one's basically a gorgeous frankincense based fragrance that's very seductive. That grapefruit and the orange note kind of lift it up a little bit, which is very gorgeous. Gives it this saltiness to it, which I highly enjoy. But this is kind of the citrus fragrances that I like. Something that has a little bit of character in the base, followed by a nice punch at the top. So that is Sultanate of Oman. Number 12 is another Roja fragrance, and this one's Oud. I could have included amber oud or musk oud, but I think this one's the best in the collection as far as the rose ouds go. I think this has a lot more character. It's a lot darker. It's a lot deeper, a lot more rich. And this one also has a pretty big, extensive list of notes. Top notes are lemon verbena, lemon and bergamot. So again, you got this citrusy up top. And then middle notes are May rose, geranium, ylang ylang, and jasmine. At the base you have outerwood, ambergris, leather, saffron, musk, cashmere wood, cedar, rhubarb, patchouli, sandalwood, nutmeg, vanilla, and cinnamon. Again, another mouthful there, but this is just another, I don't know, I get these like salty nuances with these roses for some reason, but this is just a gorgeous, ornate, deep, rich rose oud that's got a lot of character. Starts off a certain way at the top, and then over time it has like the most gorgeous dry down of any rose oud that I've smelled. If you haven't checked out oud, highly suggest you do. They make it in a crystal version, which if you could see here, this juice is very dark. You can see how it kind of trails or tries to follow. It's very deep and rich. This does stain clothes and skin. So they did extract the color somehow, and you can buy a crystal version online. Okay, we're running with 23 minutes left. Okay, we're doing great. We have number 12 next, and this is another Les Indemodables, and this is Musc des Sables, and this one's the one with the orris root, ambergris, green mandarin, and Indonesian patchouli leaf. This is another gorgeous fragrance. On paper, this is very, or even to the nose, this is very fall winter oriented. It's musky, but if you haven't tried this in the heat, highly recommend you do. This becomes a whole different fragrance. All those notes somehow elevate. That green mandarin definitely pops off in the heat, and you do have this like a lot more radiant musky fragrance that's very addicting. This is unlike any other musk you've had. Very powdery, very angelic, and just very punchy with that citrus top note there. Ambergris, of course, adds that extra dirtiness to it, but not too much. But I absolutely love this one. Highly recommend you do. If I could recommend a fragrance to make sure you try out like in your lifetime, this is one of those. Musc des Sables. It's like anything you've ever smelled before. Highly recommend. And I think this one's another Antoine Lee fragrance. Number 11. So 11's a acquisition that I got this year, but I've already made a pretty huge dent in here. And this is Kajal's Le Mar Noir. I don't know if you can see how much I've used here, but I've at least used 10 mils of it, which is pretty huge. Gorgeous bottle, very, very heavy. But this one's basically a fruity oud, but it has this certain character to it. And this one's top notes are tropical fruits, green apple, violet, and bergamot. Middle notes are caramel, vanilla, balsamic notes, rose, and geranium. And at the base you have leather, oud, cashmere wood, amber, sandalwood, gaiac wood, moss, and musk. So very Roja-like note breakdown, and it does make sense because this is one of the most chameleon-like fragrances that I have. Every time I wear it, I absolutely love it. Every time I wear it, it also changes quite a bit depending on the weather, depending on if I'm sweating, depending on a bunch of other factors. This does change a lot, which is very fun. To me, this smells like, and some people would compare this one to Oud Maracuja from Mason Crivelli. I've had that one. I think this is a million times better than that. Way more complex, and the fruits on top aren't as pronounced. So if you like a more fruit forward, fragrance like this, definitely go with that one. But if you want a little more tame one, a little more balanced, definitely check out Kajal's Le Mar Noir. Highly recommend this one, and very fun wear. Reminds me of alcohol for some reason. Reminds me of a bar, of like just a kitchen sink full of random fruits and concoctions, and that's what you get here, but it works. I enjoy this one a lot, and I want to try out more from the brand. So that is Kajal's Le Mar Noir. I do need to make a more detailed review on that one soon, because I do want to talk about that one more. All right, number 10. So that we're now in the top 10, and this is, somewhat recent purchase. Came out about 2 years ago at this point. I don't even know, maybe 3. I'm losing track of time, but this is Les Abstraits de Cendres. This fragrance is one of my favorites of all time, of course. So I needed to put this in the top 10. You can see there, that's a pretty huge dent. I used to wear this almost daily at one point, but I've kind of, stopped a little bit so I can savor what I have. But every time I wear this is an experience. I always post about this on my Instagram. One of the best fragrance openings ever, in my opinion. Very addicting, very spicy, ashy. So for this one, the top notes are pine, tar, and galbanum, birch tar, mint, and clove. Middle notes are leather, violet, leaf, and tuberose. And then the base notes are oak moss, hyrax, vetiver, and patchouli. If you're looking for a masculine fragrance, this is the one. This is very ashy, dry, green to the max. You have a little bit of burning qualities in there. This does translate to from ashes. And why is my camera not focusing? This is just one of my favorites of all time. If you have not checked out the brand yet, I highly recommend you do. I did want to include Bel Am in here because I do love it as equally, but if I had to pick one, it would be the Cendres. But Bel Am is very gorgeous as well, and soft, buttery, smooth, and very seductive. So if you want a seductive fragrance, you could go either or. You can get the Cendres and have that hyper masculine seductiveness, or you can get Bel Am if you want to have a little bit more of a feminine touch to it. But you can't go wrong with either. La Deluxe Exquise as well. I do need to get a bottle of that at some point, but one of my favorites of all time, also made by Antoine Lee. Every time I wear that is a great experience, and I have a bunch of fun with it. Number 9, we're gonna go with, I guess, another Antoine Lee creation, and this is Vanille Havane Coeur d'Oud, which was, I think, limited to 500 bottles. I would have included the original Vanille Havane, but I got rid of it a few months ago. It's funny because at the time that I gave it away, that was in my top 5 of all time. But I guess looking at my current collection, it got pushed back a little bit. So this can take the spot of the original as well. They're both very, very similar, apart from the oud added in here. That was a special oud that was found at somebody's collection, and they were able to distill that over there in at the factory. So this one has Cambodian oud, cocoa, vanilla, Egyptian jasmine. So very beautiful fragrance. Simple. This one's a lot more simple than the original Vanille Havane, but I decided to add this to the list because I do absolutely enjoy this profile. So that is Coeur d'Oud. And those last two were made by Antoine Lee, of course, and they both included a flower in the middle notes to kind of, you know, tame it down a little bit. So whereas Desandres had tuberose in there to kind of cut it back a little bit, make it not as, you know, pronounced, the Vanille Havane Coeur d'Oud had Egyptian jasmine in there. Number 8 is another very addictive, gorgeous fragrance. This is Roja's Fetish Pour Homme, which I believe has been discontinued. Lots of discontinued fragrances in this list, but the top notes are lime, bergamot, and lemon. Middle notes are fig, neroli, violet, and jasmine. And in the base you have leather, castoreum, labdanum, cinnamon, oak moss, ambergris, cardamom, elamai, pepper, vetiver, benzoin, patchouli, musk, and vanilla. So another very base heavy fragrance, with the top notes being another citrus fragrance, or another citrus note, right? So you have lime, bergamot, and lemon at the top, which, hint, hint, I like. So you got base notes, very heavy base notes, followed by some citrus in there to add a little bit of fun character to it. So Fetish, super gorgeous, very seductive. I mean, the name's called Fetish, right? Just a very gorgeous fragrance. I do wear this one to some dates and stuff, and, you know, special events. It does have that beautiful character to it, very leathery and spicy, and just a gorgeous creation. Unfortunately discontinued, but one of Roja's best, in my opinion. Okay, number 7 is going to be one that I've reviewed on the channel before, so check out that review if you haven't. This is Maison Corvelli's Ingredients 07 2012. Pretend Santal 33 was sprayed on some clothes, and then you had those clothes ironed, and the iron was left on there, essentially burning it. You have steam coming out. Just a gorgeous, interesting, extraterrestrial-like fragrance, in my opinion. What's going on with my camera here? Just a very gorgeous fragrance. I think it just got re-released. This used to be an exclusive. It is no longer an exclusive. I think it got re-released in the regular line called Saffron Secret, or Saffron Secret, but still gorgeous. Absolutely adore this one. Very easy to wear, but also inoffensive. They're just gonna like what you smell like. Smells like detergent that's been burned to the ground. Let's put it that way. Okay, we're running out of time, so this is gonna be number 6. This is Frederic Malle's Promise. Top notes are apple, pink pepper, rosemary, saffron, and cloves. Middle notes are Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose. And at the base you got Nagar Martha, patchouli, castoreum, labdanum, and ambroxan. This fragrance I used to own, and I had to get rid of it because my ex, she kept getting headaches with it. But it's back in my collection, and now I'm more in love with it than I was then. Just a very addictive, spicy fragrance with that apple in there and that pink pepper. It's just very seductive and fun. Can't punch you in the throat. It is very vinegar-like at the opening, but it mellows out. It becomes very gorgeous and seductive, in my opinion. So that was number 6. Now we're in the top 5. So this is going to be where it gets a little fun. I got about 2 minutes to talk about each of them. So first one, or top 5, I guess, to crack the list is going to be Christian Dior's Oud Rosewood. Another fruity oud that I have in this top 20 list. And this one has top notes of raspberry and quince. Middle notes are sandalwood. And then animal notes, who knows what that means. And at the base you have agarwood, palisander, rosewood. So this has no rose. Rosewood's a piece of wood. So it's basically like an extra woody fragrance with some top notes being fruits, which are raspberry and quince. And this one's a very interesting fragrance. Another chameleon-like fragrance where, you know, you wear it one day, it smells a certain way. You wear it another day, it smells another way. And I keep picking up different notes to this one. I always smell something different. It's always fun. So this is why Oud Rosewood made my top 5, because it is a very chameleon-like fragrance that decides to change every time I wear it, and I think it's super fun for that reason. Okay, number 4, which is another fruity oud, and this is Marc Antoine Barrois B683 Extrait. If I can focus on here, that would be awesome, but for some reason, there we go. This one has saffroline, green apple, agarwood, violet leaf, Indonesian patchouli leaf, cumin, Australian sandalwood, pink pepper, and vanilla. So I guess this is a little bit higher end, more alien-like fruity oud. It's got that saffroline in there that makes it a little more synthetic, a little more, I guess, choppy, if you will. But I absolutely adore this DNA. Very addictive, very easy to like, in my opinion. Gorgeous bottle as well, but I absolutely love B683 Extrait. Very fun apple accord in there, and just beautiful blend. So that is my number 4, which we'll put here. We'll put the 4 Horsemen up here, which is not the 4 Horsemen that I had on my shelf the other day. Number 3 is I think I got this year as well, or maybe like a couple months ago, 6 months ago. But this is Serge Lutens Musc Kubla Khan, which I absolutely adore. Every time I wear this, I'm super impressed with it. It's very basic, if you will, but it also works. So this one's has notes of civet, castoreum, cistus labdanum, ambergris, Moroccan rose, cumin, bread seed, costus root, and patchouli. This is just a very well-made musk fragrance. Smells dirty, but not as dirty as everyone always talks about it, unless that was like the old version, and the new version's more tame. But it is, you know, it is musky. It is a little raunchy, but I absolutely love it. A very pheromone-like fragrance. If you've never tried Musc Kubla Khan, get a decant and kind of know what I'm talking about. But this is just a beautiful musky fragrance. Sometimes I'll, you know, take a shower and then spray this on, and I just feel alive again. Kind of like when a dog, you know, takes a shower and they go outside and they just roll around in the grass to get dirty again, to get a little bit of grit on you. That's what Musc Kubla Khan does for me. It adds a little bit of character to a rather boring, you know, situation. So that's why Musc Kubla Khan is number 3. Very fun fragrance, super masculine. I would love to smell that on a lady. I think it would be incredibly seductive and fun. Recently, I have been combining Musc Kubla Khan with Musc Ravageur from Frederic Malle, and that's another incredible like creation that I've done recently. It's kind of fun. All right, a couple minutes left. We got 2 left. So number 2 is going to be this one from Marc Antoine Barrois, and this is Ganymede Extrait. And this one has been on my number 2 list for a couple years now, It has not moved a spot, and every time I wear it, I'm reminded why. And this one, the top notes are incense, myrrh, mandarin orange. Middle notes are immortelle, and at the base you got akigala wood and safraline. And this is another Quinton Biche creation from 2023 or 2022. Ratings are abysmal on this on Fragrantica, but I absolutely love this one. This one does something to me that, you know, other fragrances don't do. And this is just a very spicy, dry, strange, ethereal fragrance. This was, you know, based on outer space. Ganymede is, I think, the moon for somewhere, the moon for Jupiter or something like that. But that's what these fragrances are. They're meant to be otherworldly, and this is absolutely that. Just very gorgeous, resinous, dry, a little bit of mandarin orange in there to add that little bit of texture, or to lift that darkness out of there. I just think this is a beautiful, gorgeous, spicy fragrance. Very, very spicy. Some people think this is, you know, a bunch of Indian spice market, but I don't think so. You do have that orange in there. You do have that incense that creates a little bit of that type of vibe, but there's way more other fragrances that are Indian spice-like, and this is not one of those. But highly enjoy this one. But I can see how it can be hated. Very difficult to stomach for some, but for me, it's just hits right. All the, you know, hits all the boxes for me. Okay, if you haven't figured it out now, and if you haven't been around for a while, and the next fragrance should be a surprise to none. I talk about it all the time. I talk about it in comments and, you know, posts and all that stuff. So number one, and this has been my number one since I got it. It has not changed. Every time I wear it, it's I fall in love again and again and again. And this is none other than Le Lion de Chanel by Chanel, of course. This is a 2020 bottle from Dubai before it got released to the States. I still have, you know, quite a bit of it. I'm kind of nervous to run through it because I have owned two other Le Lion bottles, and those were both different compared to this. I think I have the holy grail of the Le Lions because this one just does something to me. Top notes of this are bergamot and lemon. Middle notes are labdanum, amber, and at the base you have patchouli, Madagascar vanilla, musk, and sandalwood. So again, we have my citrus top notes saving my base notes, and you know, making it a beautiful concoction. But I've talked about this in a video before. I basically called it perfect, and to me this is 4 fragrances in one. When you start off, you have a certain fragrance, very lemony, very spicy, and then, you know, as time goes on, 20 minutes in, you get another fragrance. You get the middle notes, you get a little bit of that vanilla creeping in, and the patchouli, and the labdanum, the amber, and then when you get to the base, that's one of the most gorgeous bases of a fragrance I've ever smelled before. It's just a really great, another seductive fragrance, I guess. But Le Lion de Chanel, love it. If you don't love it, let me know why. I just think this is gorgeous, and I want to see Chanel do more of this. Although I don't think they will. But that's my top 20 list. Hopefully you guys liked it. Drop a comment below to see what I've missed, or, you know, why didn't I include anything. Let me know your top 3 or top 5. I would love to know that as well. And let's see, we got about 28 seconds left. This was difficult to make, but I feel like I did justice to my collection and what I have. I have not smelled everything in the world, of course. These are just what I've had in my collection over the years, and, you know, trading and all that. So these are my top 20. Let me know what you think. and I would love to chat with you guys in the comments.